Good morning. Beautiful Wednesday morning, I hope, for everyone. I mentioned in my Monday Shed Wars video that I was going to do a video today, Wednesday, on what I'm doing with my harvest. And so I mentioned I've just been getting a good handful, and I'll throw some pictures in here of my harvest. A good amount of tomatoes every night, cherry tomatoes and some slicing tomatoes. And I've got plans for some of that, of storing some of that for future use. But it's really hard with just a small batch. You know, I want to have a larger batch. And so what I've been doing is freezing, especially my cherry tomatoes and some of my slicer tomatoes when I get too many. So what I've been doing is I've got a cookie sheet that I'm leaving in the freezer, and as I talk, I'm gonna throw some B-roll in here so you can see what my setup looks like. But I just take what I can, what I've got, and I spread it out pretty evenly on that sheet. I try not to have everything where it's just all piled up. Spread it out on that cookie sheet and do what they call a flash freeze. Now, from what I've read, and I've done this in years past, is you can keep, especially tomatoes, for a couple months like that. Some people I've seen do it longer. It's whatever you're willing to try. Don't take my word on this. You got to do your own research on it, as far as freezing and canning, all that kind of stuff, because it can really get hairy, on that type of stuff. It can, you got to be careful with it. But this is how I'm doing it this year. I think we're going to be fine. I'll watch it as I always do, make sure things don't start looking poor out there in the freezer, or even when I take it out and work with it. But what I'm doing is, like I said, I'm taking every day. I harvest out here my cherry tomatoes and my slicer tomatoes, and we take them up to the house and we wash them, and we lay them out on a towel in the cabinet, and then I let those dry overnight. And then in the morning, I take my sweetie cherries and my yellow pear. I'm not eating a whole lot of those. I've got the sun golds. I'm snacking on my sun golds, and so I'm taking those two, and every morning, and I go put them in my freezer. And then I freeze them during the day, and then the evening when I come home after supper, I go out there and I take them and I separate them out into Ziploc freezer bags. And then I've got almost a full bag of those sweetie cherries, and the yellow pears are getting full too. I am freezing a few sun golds just because I've had a few extra here lately. Those things are really heavy loaders. So that's what I'm doing. I am putting some sliced tomatoes in there. So what I'm doing on the slicing tomatoes is every night I take the previous day's slicer tomatoes that I haven't eaten, that are getting a little bit ripe, those kind of things that I've not done anything with, and I put those in the freezer. And I'm trying to pick the ones that don't have a lot of spots on them. I talked about that the other day, about my theory on tomatoes with spots. I'm using those just for eating. But the ones without spots, I'm putting in any kind of blemish, something like that, I'm putting in the freezer. Excuse me. And then again in the morning when I wake up, I check on those before I put my cherry tomatoes in, and I put those in a Ziploc bag. And so, like I said, I've got quite a few tomatoes up there in the freezer right now. And then I'm also freezing peppers. So pepperoncinis, man, those are just, they load up like crazy. I'm getting so many of those peppers every harvest. And so I've been taking those. We keep a few out to eat, and then I take the rest and I just throw them on my tray to freeze. And I've got almost a full bag of pepperoncinis, and I'm getting probably about a half-gallon bag of jalapenos right now. But I'm steadily picking more jalapenos. I'm not worried about that, and I've got more peppers back here in the back to come on pretty soon. So again, right now I'm freezing my cherry tomatoes, some slicing tomatoes, and peppers. So what am I going to do with that? I'm planning to dehydrate the cherry tomatoes. I'm probably going to try to can some of the slicing tomatoes, and then I want to pickle some peppers and also make some pepper jelly and that kind of stuff that I've never done before. So that's what I'll be doing with that. And like I said, from what I've read, a couple months, it's fine to do it like that. I've never done it for longer, really, on tomatoes and that type of stuff. I did do what they call this is called a flash freeze. I did do that on blueberries one year. I went to a U-Pick blueberry farm and picked a whole bunch of blueberries, and we froze them like this, and then just pulled from the bags throughout the year, and those were fine. And the tomatoes would probably be okay too. But like I said, I'm hoping to get those dehydrated here at the end, later in the summer. I just got too much going on right now to really work on it, and I just want to have a big batch when I get started on dehydrating. I want to have them all ready to go and just throw them in the dehydrator. So I appreciate you guys watching this one, and leave me a comment. I really enjoy all the comments I'm getting, and the interaction I get with you folks. So leave me a comment below. Tell me what you're doing with your harvest. Do you go ahead and can? Some of y'all are getting some huge harvest, I know, and so you're just you having to take care of all of them as you can when you get it. So I appreciate you guys watching. Leave me a comment, and I'll catch you on the next video. Goodbye.